Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Almighty Algorithm. Now, today, I think one of the things I would like to do is just kind of set forth a few things. I know it's been a little while since I recorded something, and one of the best things, well, it's gonna be a lot of pauses in this one. I'm not gonna edit it. I'm kind of just gonna go into it, just naturally, not pause. Just kind of put my thoughts out there. Why I think the way I think, where I've come from, basically how I've come to think about things the way I do. Uh, Not really too experienced with this, so I'm just gonna kind of roll with it. So we live in a really interesting time. We live in a time where people are literally at each other's throats about things that don't seem to make much sense. Now, of course, things like race, sex, gender, all that makes sense. But why is it that we are literally wasting a ton of time doing this? It's a really hard thing to answer. Now, when I was younger, I grew up in in a place where people didn't care about being racist towards each other, or to other people, at least publicly. It was more of that behind the scenes sort of deal. When I was younger, I definitely said some nasty things and did some things I wasn't proud of. Growing up in a majority white town, you definitely learn to think a little bit differently. But that being said, what we have now is almost like a new religion coming to the forefront. This social justice ideology and all of the components of it. Now, I'm quite sensitive to religion. I was raised Roman Catholic, and I knew of like a lot of people from a pretty early age that yeah, the religion wasn't for me. I was a why kid. I'm still a why person. I always want to figure out why is that? Why do you believe that? Why should I listen to that? And I was forced by my parents to go to Sunday school, go to the church every week, do all those sorts of things, recite the same hymns, the same prayers every week. But yeah, no, I didn't buy it. I became quite sensitive to hearing those things, especially from other family members that really were overly religious. Let's just say that. I'm sure we all have somebody in our family that's a little bit similar. At least we can recall somebody that we know that is similar to that. Now, that be it as it may, that sensitivity towards religion definitely extends outwards. That's why with this whole new thought process, it's easy to see this as a new religion. But the only difference between the religion I was born, what I was raised in, and this new religion is that there's no concept of forgiveness. Somebody, ever found out that I said the N word in my past or whatever, and in this new religion, there would be no forgiveness. It would be a stain on the life of somebody forever instead of doing what I think is probably best for everyone at this time. I think the best thing for people to do right now is to get out and to talk to each other. We see a lot of what's going on with BLM, and this, that definitely plays also into the SJW part of this. But we see with BLM and the SJWs that we blame white people for everything. Yet we do not allow for them to come to the table when we have these honest conversations. Talking to my girlfriend these things, why can't people just talk with each other? And I said because we're at a point right now where it's nobody really, these people don't want to talk to other people. They don't want to do that sort of thing. Yet that is, in my earnest belief, the best thing for people to do is to get out and have conversations, really talk to each other, really get out there. And this is kind of a sentiment people have been trying to get on for a while, between the punches blown to each other on YouTube and, all the fighting and the blood sports and all that kind of jazz has come around to it. But at least a lot of these people are willing to talk to each other instead of just, it may be fighting, but at least they're talking to each other. They're getting fresh ideas. They're getting people's feelings out there, their ideas and stuff like that, and letting people judge them forthwith for what they are. And yes, you'll have people that will be, and yes, there will be people that do get uh, radicalized by certain views. But many people, in my earnest belief, can see and smell bullshit. At least you can kind of have a vague idea that, like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. When you have somebody like, I don't know, Richard Spencer talking about ethno-nationalism and uh, trying to trying to create ethno-states and trying to pull that kind of shit. People can smell that from a mile away. The SJW stuff at first was like a lot harder to see, because it's kind of baked into kindness, and like it has kindness and empathy baked into it as its creed, I guess you could say, or its motive. But as the saying goes, all good things are, you know. Sorry, the quotes. What the fuck's the quote? Oh, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There you go. I couldn't freaking think of it. Well, like I said, this is gonna be just kind of a long ride. I'm just kind of, talking a little bit, letting my thoughts flow, and I don't know if I'm gonna edit it. I think I'm kind of just starting to try to get a vibe, at least talking to the camera and just talking to the computer, putting thoughts out there. I mean, I could do scripts, but I kind of like off the cuff a little bit more in terms of it. But when I'm looking and researching something, of course, I'll have more of a scripted style. But for these sorts of things, I don't mind for once in a while just kind of putting thoughts out there. And if people see it, people see it. If we can create some dialogue and get people to talk to each other, I know there's a big community for this kind of stuff already. But ever since 2016, I've become more so politically activated. I remember one specific conversation I had with my dad. He was sitting in his room, and I came in. I was asking him, "Oh, who are you gonna go vote for?" Because I was getting a bit curious. I'd been seeing some stuff on the news about Trump and Clinton and all this kind of stuff, and I said, "Oh, who are you gonna vote for?" And he said, "Trump, of course." My father's a lifelong Republican. He sees an R next to the guy's name. That's his guy. Me, I was like, no, but look what he says about women, and looks what he said. Look how great Hillary is. My dad said, "You have no idea about this lady." That was the first time in my life I really thought, oh, maybe I should look into a little bit of politics. I've always like kind of had a vague interest, but not wanting to get involved too much with it. I was kind of one of the, like a lot of people, like, I don't need to vote. What's the point? Kind of a things. And at heart, I still am a little bit. But, just registering to vote, a couple weeks ago was definitely a first. And that's only because I believe this election is going to be very important. Probably the most important election of, my life up until this point. And so I decided to go and look, and man, I really started finding things and started building an opinion. Kind of going down the rabbit hole of YouTube a little bit, getting lost at work and just kind of stuff, like just listening to things at work, and starting to listen to people like shit, I think it was Kyle Kalinske was the first like person I really watched on YouTube. And then it was like, I think this guy named Hard Bastard. Then down to people like Sargon. sticks, and a wide berth of opinions, ideas that I've really built a solid base of my identity, I guess, or at least my social political identity on. And I think, hearing so much about it, thinking so much about it, and talking about it with a lot of people in my life, I thought that, getting out and talking to people, even if it's online or in person, or just having some conversations with people and having a bit of dialogue is a good thing. And I think we all need to kind of come back to earth a little bit. Because like I was saying before, the SJW in ideology is getting horrific. And I think it's pulling at things that we do not want to happen. Like many have said, it's what did Tim Pool call it? He said racial white racial awakening. That is what some people are trying to activate, and I think that that is horrifying. And I keep bringing up people like Sam Harris, for example, saying that like imagine if we wasted all of our time arguing about our hair colors with each other. How much of a waste of human energy that would be and human capital. It would be worthless, pointless, and ignoramus, I guess would be a good way to put it. I mean, but this thought process literally doesn't stop. It could go from race to sex to gender to oh, fuck. It could even go to hair color, height. We already know weight. I mean, just things that people look and judge each other based on. And these things, weight's a little bit different, but things that people are usually born with are out of their control in a lot of ways. People are just looking to find that fight and looking to find, the new civil rights fight and stuff like that, be it trying to reemerge it with race now again, gender, trans rights and stuff like that, which it's a very odd thing, and it just smacks of religious like zealousy on a lot of ways, like the magic words and the no words and all those sorts of things that are just kind of thrown at you, or oh, you can't say that because that's against God. And now it's just turned to, ooh, you can't say that because that's against insert marginalized person. And yeah, that's not good. That's quite toxic. I believe in a world where we can talk to each other. I believe there, but we have to have actual honest conversations. We have to have very hard conversations that will hurt people's feelings, that will anger people, that will make people want to fight. But those are the conversations that we need. And I don't know, since I'm not out there talking to a ton of people and all that kind of stuff, but from what it looks like, that sort of opinion is becoming the minority opinion. I mean, I may be wrong thinking, in that sense, because a lot of people that are against it are probably a minority, but at least a sense in terms of the institutions, like, yeah, even the government quickly becoming sort of like that too, depending on what side you're talking about. But the institutional power behind this is not good. It's a mainstream thinking that disguises itself as like the minority, but I mean, you have companies cynically, of course, backing a lot of this shit, especially with BLM and stuff like that. And when they're trying to sit there and tell you that like BLM is a anti-establishment, you know, movement, that's very incorrect. It's not. It's plainly not. And like I've been saying since the beginning, the best way to combat this stuff, like I mean, I've sat and I've talked to my girlfriend for a long time, just about trying to figure out what can people do, and I'm prone to getting angry about it, and when she may not understand and things like that, or people around me, when they don't seem to understand and see the things, but so myself, I'm working on trying to have better conversations with people. And the violence, the vitriol, I just watched that video of the guy getting kicked in the head in Portland. It's like this is unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. People should not be acting in a way like this. It should not get to a point in my life where I feel like I need to buy a gun to make sure that me and my own are safe. I don't think we should get to that point. Reality dictates differently, of course, with that sort of thing, and it's probably not the worst idea to get a gun in the world, to get a gun, even if it's just personal protection. But I mean, you know what I mean. And I know that's how a lot of Americans feel right now, is that it shouldn't get to the point where I feel like, all right, I need to go and buy a gun because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. That's a scary thought. That's not what our country is. It's not where our country should be. And this isn't the basis of what we are. I think once the dialogue opens back up, are able to actually have conversation with each other, we're going to get back to a very good point. If this shit continues, though, we are going to be going down a dark road. I think it's going to racialize people in a way that people do not want to see. I think the Democrats right now putting forward amendments out in California, repealing civil rights act, acts that literally stop the discrimination based on protected categories, to allow, to force more people into places they want to, allowing people the right to discriminate, to fix discrimination is stupid. If you don't think people are going to take advantage of that sort of thing, they're fucking wrong. I told my girlfriend I'll never step a foot in that state. And I don't want to. It is clown, man. It's clown world, man. Of course it is. But it's bizarro world. It's all the upside down. It's all those things you can think about with that kind of stuff. That is one of the craziest damn things. So, California trying to repeal and then hiding behind the affirmative action amendment. It's like, they probably think a ton of people are stupid. And sadly enough, they may not be wrong. Yeah, but that's about it. I just really want to get some thoughts out there, just kind of talk. Put the thoughts out into the fucking ether, out into the void. See if anybody will hear me. But things will get worse before they get better, but they will get better. And it's only a amount of time until they do, but we can't stand aside. You can't just sit there and not have the conversations and not talk about these things, because if you don't, you literally just start becoming complacent. And that's using their kind of language, but it's complacency, and that silence will just lead to people taking the things away from you that you do not want taken away. And you don't realize it now, you will when they're gone. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for coming to the Almighty Algorithm. This is Vi, signing off.